Hello. Hello.
And that's
Oh
why.
God.
Listen,
wait a
listen.
minute,
That's why.
Ali
Listen, no,
B.
wait a minute. Let me. One sec. Can I finish?
Go ahead,
Right.
go ahead.
It's
That is
called
why.
space sickness.
Shut that fuck up, when I'm talking. Oh,
It's
sorry.
space sickness.
I'm sorry.
He's not
I'm
live
sorry,
right now.
Nathan.
What the fuck?
He's not live right now.
Yeah, we're
Sorry,
not
Nathan.
live at the
Oh,
minute.
is he finished? Is he?
He's not live.
All
We're
right.
gonna have a 5-minute break. That's
All right.
all.
Okay then.
And then we're back again for
Sorry,
round
Nathan.
3.
Right. The thing is, guys. Right. They have bone deterioration in their bodies. Their bodies actually waste away up there.
Ali, how do you know?
Right. So why would they make shit like that up then?
To
Wait,
justify the
Ali B,
story.
can I ask? So
Yeah.
you believe that NASA is putting people in rockets, right? Sending
Yep.
these rockets up there, and
Yep.
somehow these rockets or whatever modules they're using are docking to the ISS at 17,500 miles per hour, and that's how they're
I
getting
don't
up
know the
there.
speed. I don't know the
That's
speed.
that's how the
I
fast.
don't-
That's
I
how
don't know
fast.
the speed. No, that's how fast they say they're going. I
Yeah,
don't know
they
the
say.
speed. Right. Okay. So
But
I'm
you
not
believe
agreeing
that
with
that's
it-
what's
with the speed.
happening, though.
So
Yes,
basically,
I do.
you believe in something that you don't know the details to.
And you disbelieve something that you don't know the details to.
I'm not making a claim. You did, Ali.
Ali, what evidence have you got that supports your position that people are on that tin can up there?
The fact that I don't see why there shouldn't be.
No, but that negative evidence isn't positive evidence, though, right?
Yeah, if you didn't
so?
if you didn't have video footage of them doing this and someone said, "Hey, see that light up there? There's 7 people living in that light." You wouldn't believe it if you didn't have the footage.
Yes, I would.
Why would
If I
you
knew
believe
about
someone that
NASA
said
and I
that?
knew if
That's called
I
appealing
knew
to
there was
authority.
NASA, listen, if I knew there was NASA, right? Because I know NASA exists and I know they do send rockets up there, right? I see them sending rockets up, but you lot think it's fucking CGI or shit like that, right? Okay, so I accept that rockets go up there. I accept that they go up and they dock with the ISS. And if someone told me that, said, "Oh, see that light? That's the ISS," I'll go, "Oh, well, fascinating. That's amazing." I've no reason, and I'm not appealing to authority.
Wait, but Ali,
What reason?
Can I ask, are you a flat earther?
Yep.
So you believe the Earth is flat.
I've been a flat earther for 3 years, mate. I've been a flat earther for 3 years. So.
And I've heard you on here before, and I've heard you speak about this subject, and it has confused me, but I've never actually gotten the chance to speak to you about it. But so you believe the Earth is flat, which obviously means NASA is lying to us about the shape of the
Absolutely.
Earth.
100%, yep.
So you believe that they're lying to us about the shape of the Earth, but that they're telling the truth about putting people in orbit of a planet that's supposedly not a planet. And I fail to see how you equate that. I don't. I mean, I'm just asking, like, how does that work in your mind?
Well, I don't really think it's a problem. Actually, I believe that they're hiding what actually space is, and they're doing something up there that we're not privy to.
Well, do you believe they're in a constant free fall, 24 hours a day?
No, of course they're not. They're floating in there's some kind of currents up there, maybe magnetic currents, and there could be 2 currents actually, one going one way. Then there's a kind of space, and then there's the things going the other way. You know, like it's going the opposite way. But it's certainly It's like I think it's, you know, when you go to the fair, the fun fair, you get in they boats with the water that goes round in a circle. They round things and they go round in a circle and follow the currents round. That's what satellites and that's what the ISS are doing up there. They're actually going round in a circle. Above us, not around us, but actually above us in a circle, the same as the sun and the moon. They're doing the exact same as the sun and the moon.
And how are they doing that with gravity?
No, they're floating. But they're floating. Well, wait a minute, they're floating. We float in water, right? The way I look at it is, right, suddenly, when we go up to a certain high, everything starts floating, right? Well, you can accept that or you don't. Right, okay, so that, well, there's no point continuing this conversation, because you can keep saying that, and I can keep asking why. How do you know it's not happening? Right? Because all your evidence is pure speculation. There's no proof. There's more proof.
That's exactly what I was going to say about your assumption there.
Yeah, there's loads of, you see rockets going off, you see filming from inside there. I don't see them bouncing about and fucking use guys going on about water bubbles and stuff like that. That's ice particles that have come off when they're down on the, when they vent the rockets.
What do we see floating? You say things float up there. What do we see floating up there besides the celestial bodies, really?
People.
Because, I mean...
People and balls and things, microphones and all that, yeah.
People? I mean, all right, like even balloons that are sent up 120,000 feet, they still come down, right? So...
yeah, but they pop.
Right, they pop and then they come down because of supposed gravity, right?
They're not. No, they don't come down because of that. It's because it's due to weight.
That's what I believe. But I'm going
into the atmosphere. They don't go into the floaty part of the atmosphere because there's a barrier there, right? There is.
How do you know?
You believe in outer space, do you?
Yeah, of course I do.
He believes in satellites and the ISS.
Well, where's the moon? Where's the moon then?
In outer space, so
what's the moon? Where's the moon then? Is that in our atmosphere?
What
is that? What you're trying to tell me?
For a pressurized system next to a vacuum.
I never said it was a vacuum, Arwen. Stop putting words in my mouth.
What do you think it is then?
It's a lower pressure. It's a lower. Let me answer. It's a lower pressure system that I've been saying for fucking a year and a half now. It's called a lower pressure system. It's not a vacuum. As you guys already know with the last bloody video that he's played, they're hiding what that medium is, right? Okay, that's what I believe.
What's the container then?
What container? I don't know. I do not know.
So you literally think that NASA's lying about some things and being absolutely truthful about other things?
No, but they're not being true. The only thing they're being truthful about is they're sending rockets up there and there's people up there. That's where that ends. And the experiments that they're doing up there, you know, for example, right? If I had a chemical company, right, or a drug company, which they've done before, they sent up E. coli up there, and it turned into a more of a virulent strain, and they sent it back down to Earth.
How do you know?
Ali, they don't send rockets; they launch rockets. They just go back down.
No, that's your opinion. No.
It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. You cannot see.
It is your opinion. Do you want me to explain why you see it coming?
The launch of a rocket, and you don't see nothing else.
Okay, give us your non-stop shot of a rocket launch from the moment the engine starts, one camera only, into outer space until you can see the Earth.
All right, okay, yeah,
like a globe.
If you'll give me time. Yes,
one camera.
Yeah, okay. What do you mean with one camera? What?
One camera.
You guys think?
One camera.
You guys listen. Listen. Use guys think they owe you something. You guys think,
they're testing my tax money. I think they do owe me something.
They owe you, Jack.
Pay for the
private company.
Why pay them tax money for this shit? They owe us explanations.
They do owe us.
They are a private company,
like,
and they are
honestly, that's the biggest. That's a big global argument.
Military.
Yeah,
no, that's a big global argument.
Military. Hang on, I'm called.
Do you believe that they constructed this thing in the 3 trips that up there? Does that, you know what I mean? Do you think that? Because
I'm on the phone at the moment, guys. I'm on the phone at the moment. I'll be back in a sec.
This is a first for me. I've never heard of someone who believes NASA's lying about other stuff, but the ISS is real and the Earth is not a ball. That's the very first time.
There's lots of fisheye lens proof with the Earth, and even with remember, like the solar panels, when they are at a certain spot in the right down corner, they always bend.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they
fisheye lens. So whatever that is,
I think they
It's-
might even take footage of high altitude and kind of put it in some sort of software to, make it look like an Earth. It's real footage of high altitude, but
That's exactly what I agree completely.
They fisheye lens it,
yeah.
and then
I think that's where
they edit the pool scene in front of it,
Hmm.
or
I
whatever.
think that's
use-
where all the footage comes from. I think is from high altitude planes and balloons and all of that, and then they just take it all and form it into the ball.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Ranty, Stiggy, SX, Sleeping Warrior, Peanuts, Lair Bear, Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin, and Ali B. Good panel. Hello all.
Yo.
What it is?
Good afternoon.
Yo.
So, Ali, you think there are people on the tin can up there in the ISS, right?
Ali, you're on mute.
You might be on the phone.
He might be on the phone. So I'll just summarise what's been going on in the break. So if you're not subscribed to my backup channel, which is Nathan Space Oakley, you won't have the slightest clue what we're talking about. Hence, I'll summarise it now. So before the break, the chat, who are predominantly flat earthers, have been discussing the validity of what NASA do up there and what there may be. So that's a very brief introduction to what the conversation has been up until now, just so you're filled in.
Yeah, but you missed the key part. You missed the key part that Ali B believes and accepts that there are people in a tin can orbiting a flat plane above us. Now, I agree with him that there is some orbiting the flat plane above us, but I don't agree with him that there's people on that thing that's in that tin can. And I asked him what evidence does he accept, and then he answered by saying, well, why not? And I'm like, well, you've got to prove that your assertion is true. If you believe that there's people on the ISS, what evidence is it that you accept that makes you form that opinion? Because it's not for me to disprove, like to prove my negative's not true. It's for you to prove that yours is true.
Because he believes in outer space.
Does he believe the moon landings, or is he does he believe everything NASA's done?
I don't know. Probably.
I can't coalesce how you can feel that NASA's lying to you about the shape of the Earth, but they're telling you the truth about putting people in a tin can moving around the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour. It doesn't make sense.
What about the bullet? Let's ask him about the bullet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
No.
The super finger vacuum guy, like, what the hell?
So, Arwin, if you want to rack up where you found that album art, ready for him to respond, let's see what he says about it.
Oh, the bullet hole. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the meteorite thing.
What's the name of the guy who put his finger in the thing? Like, he should be famous, right? Like the world's most famous finger.
Yeah, they call him Nine Finger Joe.
He's a hero.
Oh my god!
Hey, can you explain that? Because I haven't heard about that.
There was a meteorite that apparently basically punctured the outside of the ISS, right? Didn't go straight through the other side when it was traveling at a velocity of around about 20,000 miles an hour. It landed inside somewhere, right? And they've got the bullet hole. What the problem is, A, there's no exit wound, so the meteorite must be inside that vessel somewhere. B, the bullet wound looks just like an album cover from a music album. It's nonsense.
Wow.
It doesn't look like it. It's the
People
same
think that-
picture. It's the same picture.
2014.
Well, and did he stick his thumb from the outside when he was when he was in a spacesuit, or was it from the inside and it was like
Well,
a gloved?
We'll
Does it
present
say
the
that?
picture that we're presented with, and then we'll ask Ali if he believes it. And if he believes it, then we'll all laugh at Ali.
Hey,
Did
you know
you
what,
guys see
I-
the picture
I'm
that
taking
looked like a fly in the ISS?
Say again.
Did y'all see the video or picture of the fly that was in the ISS?
Yeah,
The
check
fly.
out Bling Bling BSS of the ISS if you want to see this, but she focused on that quite heavily. The fly. Yes, indeed, I did see that. Very funny.
Oh, they had a stranger board the ISS.
No, outside.
Fly.
Outside.
Oh, there was a fly outside of the ISS.
Certainly
They've had one
seems...
where the fly was on the inside as well.
Oh wow, we got super flies now.
Yeah, they're inside,
Handles
they're
the
outside, they're
vacuum of
everywhere.
space.
supposedly they took 50 mice up there too. I would have loved to see 50 mice in a constant free fall.
Really? Why?
Yes, there's documentation of them taking mice up there. If you look at all the stuff they've taken up there, it's
Why stop
it's pretty
there? I'd
fascinating.
like to see 15 monkeys in free fall. Maybe 2
Oh, I'd
elephants.
love it.
Well, do you remember when they took the jerseys up, the NFL jerseys, right? And they were wearing the jerseys of the team that won. And then they worked out when the last time that the Soyuz went up to be able to take up supplies. And the only time that they could have done it was something like 6 or 8 weeks ago. But at that time, there was like potentially 5 teams that could have won it. So that the amount of weight that they would have had to have taken up there to account for these jerseys that they were all wearing would have been disproportionately too heavy. For the argument was that they would have had to have taken up too many because it wasn't the league, it was the cup. And there was something like 32 or 16 teams left in it. So they would have had to have taken up all the teams. To be able
And then what did they do? They threw it out the airlock or something when they were done with it.
God knows what they did.
Ali B is taking his time.
But you know, we're not saying that we don't see something in the sky, because I definitely see something.
Yeah, people have said they see.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it myself, but
I'm not
people
saying
said they
anything's
see
there.
something up there. But I don't believe there are people up there in their khakis, flipping around, doing interviews with kids on Earth. I mean, get the hell out of here.
7-hour spacewalks in a diaper.
Yeah, with diapers showing up, and it's just.
Yeah, I think that we do.
And now this story, like, what would be the purpose of this story? Is it because we've said that for 20 years this thing has been up there? There's not been one accident, one mishap, nothing, and then all of a sudden now,
Got a bullet hole now.
yeah, all of a sudden, like, is that to add dramatic effect?
A 4-year-old bullet hole.
Can you imagine though if it was flat earthers that were presenting this evidence and the ballers were on the other? It was the other way around. The ballers were able to laugh at us.
Laughed at all day,
laugh at us.
all day.
I mean, they laugh at
Seriously,
Ranty.
how do you ballers feel about this? Seriously, because this is ridiculous.
They laugh at Ranty when he gets a smudge on the horizon, but they don't see the problem with the ISS footage. It's just nonsense.
Oh my god.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the show. I'm going to go on that hot air balloon, and you should be seeing pictures if you do look at my videos. But thanks again. Keep up the good work.
Right now?
You're gonna
no.
stream?
Yeah, we're going within the next hour. So
Put the
it'll be
link
fun.
in.
Awesome.
Balloon moving over a stationary Earth. It's wonderful.
Are
Thank you guys.
Are you going
Put
to
the link in chat?
What?
Put the link in chat.
Put what link?
But he's
You're
not
gonna
live
live stream it, or you're just gonna video?
No. I'm just going to make a little compilation and.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. It's
So,
just gonna be video.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
But
Yeah,
have fun, you guys.
All right, man.
Thanks, Diggy.
Have
It was
fun.
great having you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Nathan.
Hey, Lenny Harry or Mong Patrol, I want y'all to grab your balls, and click the link in the description, and come in. Don't show your balls, but I want you to grab your balls. I want you to come in here. I want you to tell me why we're wrong.
They won't. Just ignore them people. They don't add anything to the discussion.
Hey, Sleeping Ward, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Are you Ranty?
No.
What?
I'm trying to get the name sorted here. I'm sorry. Anyway, you were talking about the moon earlier. Do you Do you lean towards an Enoch system or something else?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think that the honest answer is I think the moon is proof of intelligent design. It sticks two fingers up at physics and it says, explain this. And it does it with a massive neon sign over it. And people are too dumb to ask the questions that are obviously flaws in their model. Like, why does it go missing for 3 days at new moon phase? Shouldn't happen. So I don't know what we live in. I don't know what it is, but I just know that it makes no sense on their model. There are too many inconsistencies with it.
Way too many.
Fair enough.
Way too many.
It's a Frankenstein theory.
I mean, the moon illusion is nonsense in itself. That's a good. I mean, that proves that we're not on a heliocentric model. This moon illusion nonsense. I don't accept that the atmosphere causes what they tell us it does in relation to the moon.
Mm-mm.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think the what was it, Michelson-Morley experiment proves stationary Earth?
Yeah, Sagnak's experiment, Michelson-Gale, Airy's failure, except that they all show that nothing was moving other than the ether.
This guy in chat, George, wants to keep telling people how we're just stupid. He wants to tell me I'm stupid for coming on this show. Yeah, George Netton, whatever.
George Netanyahu is the guy that basically tried to put a man out of his job because, in George's opinion, he was wrong on the internet. Now, whether he was wrong or not, George tried to sabotage a man's career, and I don't think that's not a credible position to take, George. So forget George. He can't explain the Coriolis force. He doesn't realise we're in the 21st century. And what's the other issues against George, Nathan? I'm sure I can't remember. There's a few.
I mean, right now he's trying to say everything we're saying about the moon is pretty much just wrong and stupid, and it's like, please tell us where we're wrong. When George, I say how does the moon disappear completely, he says, "Oh, it's the new moon. Look it up." Really, Dick? Like, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know your silly story. I'm asking. I'm telling you, it doesn't work in reality, bro.
Yeah, they do acknowledge that it goes missing, right? But they don't tell us for why, and that makes no. You can't acknowledge that the moon disappears without telling us why.
Exactly.
There's two ways. There's two ways to describe George Netanyahu, and that's the nice way and saying he's a confused old man, and then there's the more straightforward way, and that is that he I just forgot.
I wouldn't even point him out.
Demented old git.
Yeah, but he's in the chat talking about all chocolate saying you're stupid for even coming on the show. The stupidity is rubbing off on you. Well, dude, come in here and tell me how I'm stupid.
No, just ask him to explain Coriolis. He had 3 episodes of an hour long. Couldn't get Coriolis.
I heard him stuttering and stammering. Didn't know what the hell freaking day it was of the week. Like, come on.
To be fair, I never know what day of the week it is either. But yeah, the point is he can't explain the Coriolis force because either the Earth's spinning with the atmosphere fixed above it, and we have Coriolis. But if that's the case, how do planes work? Because you can then fly east and west and get there quicker or slower, or they're moving around as one. But and if that's the case, then Coriolis force isn't there. So it's an immediate and massive contradiction on their model. It's one or the other. Can't have both.
Well, so Anthony, you know what a thermos is, right?
Yeah, I know a thermos.
I'm just saying.
An open or a closed system?
I don't know, man.
What is it? It's a closed system in the short term, but in the long term, it's an open system. Oh, really? So when we look at the definition for what is an open and closed system, guess what? It doesn't mention anything about the heat transfer. That's when it goes to a thermal system, which makes it isolated. But it's still a closed system, George. And you tried to blag me with that. And when we pull up the definition, it's shit all over your argument. They're dishonest. He's just one of those baller trolls that thinks
it's funny because he's been saying bye and that he doesn't understand why he's coming in here all this time for the past 2. What is this, the 3rd show? He's been in here the whole time talking about, oh, I'm leaving. It's just this is so stupid. Well, yeah. You're still here, idiot.
He makes silly.
What's wrong with you?
He makes silly assertions like the Boit-Seivert law and the Ampere's law explained perfectly. What was the point? I can't remember what the point was. But when we looked it up, it didn't do that at all. But he was sat there in chat telling everybody that the Boyd-Sivart law and the Ampere's law explained this phenomenon, whatever it was at the time, perfectly. Completely misrepresenting both of those points that he was making. The guy is dishonest. He's a liar.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't want to bring the conversation to George, but I just wanted to point him out. Like, don't be in the chat talking about people are stupid, but you have no explanation for what it is. Don't tell me it's the new moon. I know what that is. I know what your story is. I'm telling you, it doesn't match with reality. It's a big ball in the sky. It should be there, whether it's lit or not. It should be there. We should see it. There's no way. There's nobody on the quote unquote planet cannot see this thing in the sky for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Explain that to me, please. Thanks.
All of us should see it, apart from the moment where it passes where the moon and the sun would line up perfectly, or slightly off center. There might be a small overlap where we might not see it. But for nobody to see it for 3 days at new moon phase is garbage. It's just utter garbage, George.
Hot garbage.
I've got a question for George. So, the Foucault pendulum, why does it seem to drift? What's going on? That's a question specifically to George. Why would the pendulum, which is just swinging back and forth, obviously, why would it appear to change direction, George?
We all know the trap.
Let's see if George gives us an answer from the chat.
George can't answer questions. He answers questions by asking questions back or making stupid statements about how silly it is that you're asking it.
Well, let's see. The question is quite clear. Why do we see an apparent deflection in a Foucault pendulum? It's understood.
I don't know fuck all about pendulums. I keep getting the guy wrong.
Let's change the subject. I've got a bang up state, no latency on my chat. He will have heard the question as he was typing that shite out to Arwin. Maybe I need to repeat the question, George. Did you hear the question, George? I know there's no latency.
Don't think George knows what latency means, Nathan. Do you want to use a better word?
Why is George talking about Arwen's credibility on the radio frequency point? Because Arwen came in. I admitted
I was wrong.
Arwen came in the next day and said he was wrong about that. So there you go, George, idiot.
It's deflection. He doesn't want to answer Nathan's question. So come on, George. You have the limelight. In fact, hey, why didn't you press the link and join us, George? Maybe you can answer all these questions that we have about the moon.
He'll be Googling it right now. He'll be trying to find it in Google search.
We just point out the contradiction.
Yeah, go on.
So George asserts that the atmosphere is velcroed to the Earth, lockstep with the turning of the sphere Earth that we don't live on. However, the Foucault pendulum has an apparent deflection as the pendulum swings back and forth because the Earth turns underneath it. Interesting, eh, George?
Is that George?
Talking to Arwin again, are we, George? Okay, you senile old prick. Either you've got a hearing problem, because I know there's no latency, or you're just obsessed with Arwin. You've been asked a direct question that contradicts your assertion. Not that we need to, we're just humiliating you, old man. Because basically, we've already established that they're not tied together. That defies Coriolis. However, your assertion is debunked by Foucault, his pendulum, and the bullshit that you think it proves. You think it proves the Earth turns separately underneath the pendulum. You absolute retard. That's why you haven't answered me, because you don't understand the mechanics of your own bullshit. George is senile.
George just hasn't realized that
Nathan, can you
the age of his 20th century pseudoscience is done. This is real people doing real observation, real critical thinking in the world, man. Your pseudoscience, your bullshit, your whiteboard, that's done. People like Rantier going out with P1000s are going to kill your globe. Trust me, it's done. And I understand you're nervous about it. It's okay. I get it.
I think also you got to understand he's an old man. So I mean he has a lot of indoctrination that he has to.
That's what I'm saying. Like he has to understand that the pseudoscience that he's believed in, it's done. This is real people doing real shit out here. Sorry, but Your little whiteboard isn't going to prove anything. Not anymore. And it's the 21st century, not the 20th. So, yeah.
Can you present me, Nathan?
I can.
So, show.
So did he actually answer your question, Nathan? I've not
Of course
seen him
not.
answer any question.
Even acknowledging that Foucault debunks his assertion when it comes to Coriolis. Here we go. So, yeah, another straw man then. Haven't acknowledged me, have you, George? Yeah? George, you asserted that the Earth is attached to the atmosphere. My question, Foucault pendulum. What's the effect that you globe-head retards assert is happening in the Foucault pendulum? Idiot. Are you deaf? Do you need me to type it out? Have you got the sound down on the show?
Nah, I think he hears us loud and clear.
What's the phrase that Pete Shea uses?
He's an actor.
Yeah, he's an agent.
No, it's the one about. Oh, I know what it is. What's his name? George Netanyahu. He's got a ramshackled mind. Doesn't work anymore. Can't answer questions on his model.
Maybe he's got the volume down in the chat, so I've typed it out. Why does the Foucault pendulum have an apparent drift, George? Can you read? Just say it, George. Because the Earth in my bullshit world turns underneath the atmosphere. Just say it, George, you absolute retard. Well, rotating Earth! Right, so the Earth rotates underneath the pendulum, George. Contrary to what you have asserted over and over again, you senile old man. Yeah? So the Earth rotates underneath the pendulum, does it, dickhead? Contrary to what you've told us, that it's in lockstep with the atmosphere, idiot. No, George, you're just senile. You just don't understand your own religion. Yeah? That's why we're bitch-slapping you, you stupid old dick.
I think he forgot what he said last time he was on the show. Because that contradicts exactly what he said last time.
Yeah, the Earth doesn't rotate underneath the atmosphere according to you, George. Yeah, why would you contradict yourself? Is it because you're senile? Is it because you don't understand your own religion? I would assert yes. Idiot.
Why did you delete your response to Nathan's Hangout where you got totally destroyed? You made a massive response about it and now it's not on your channel. Why is that, George? Have you deleted it or has it just been made private?
They like to censor these things, remove them from public view when they get it wrong. Or just censor the truth completely, like GeoStreamer's currently doing. If somebody's trying to point out that he's a liar, he'll try and censor them and shut them up, delete their comments. That's what these ballers do. The people who should have truth on their side and a response to everything, they actually need to delete comments. They need to censor people.
That's where you got to go, George. You got to talk about the dude's kid.
Could I say something about the Coriolis? Did I say something about the Coriolis?
No, actually, we want to know about the passengers on the ISS.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me talk about the Coriolis first. I'm more than willing to answer all your questions, but I think so. Anyway,
yes.
What's that for? What's the offer? Who is that said? Oh, is it? Is this it?
No, that was me. Go ahead. I'm actually curious. Go ahead.
I'm glad you're back. I want to talk about this.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, but the Coriolis, right? So I made a video the other day. It was only 50 minutes, and some guy left. Do you guys remember all those years ago the video that came out of this that soldier guy that was explaining why snipers use the Coriolis effect? Yeah. Now he said when you shoot west, it's the bullet leaves the gun. Now it's in free space or whatever. Yeah. It's traveling through the atmosphere. He says, so you adjust for that east to west. He says, but you don't bother doing that north to south. And I was like, but wait a minute. If someone's in a direct line with you and you fire the bullet, that person's still moving away from the bullet. But for some reason, because it's the bullet comes out a barrel, it spins, right? Which is causing the disturbance in the air, which would possibly be called the Coriolis effect or whatever. So the fact that they don't do it from north to south, they've got no problem with it, but yet from east to west. But if you're on a moving object And if you were standing north from me, you'd still be moving to the right. Yeah, I'm still be able to hit you by shooting straight at you. That was just a little fact about that video. But there you go. Obviously, doesn't mean much to anybody, so didn't understand. Maybe I didn't explain it properly. But that was it.
Nathan, can I drop and join on Skype? I want to present some of George's, but I need the sound.
Sure.
Cool.
Is this the George show, is it?
It seems to be.
At the moment, yeah.
Can you add him, Ranty? Ranty, run away.
No, I'm there. Who did you want me to add?
Can you add Anthony?
Right, hang on.
Bit overwhelmed with boxes is all.
Hey, Ali, are you still there?
Yeah, yes, I'm indeed, yeah.
I want to ask you a question about the ISS. Have you not seen the pictures of the scuba divers in the reflection off the front mask of the ISS spacewalkers?
On the, what is that, the one that they're looking out the window and you see a guy coming that's apparently outside the ISS? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, there was a reflection of a scuba diver in the mask of one of the ISS mechanics, I guess you call them.
Oh, no, I seen that. No, that wasn't it. That wasn't a scuba diver, man. I don't care what anybody says. And that one that they were popping up, you seen a guy popping outside the ISS, or that thing that you seen, that was a reflection. And everybody jumped on it. All the...
Are you talking about in the 80s?
No. It was recently, a couple of years ago, or a year ago or something. There's a famous. Hello. There's a famous video that they're filming out the window, and then you see this. Apparently, this guy, and everybody started shouting. It was a guy, and I looked at it. I said, that's someone that's behind the camera. That's a reflection. That's a reflection from someone inside, not outside. And they bubbles in space as well. That's so weak. And the other thing, the springs and all that.
Well, that was
then you get the bad. What do you call it? The reception. You know how, if you remember during the 80s when you used to get cable television, it used to pixelate on the screen. Sometimes you get the little squares.
Right.
Yeah. You remember that on the thing? And so you see that on the ISS. Wait a minute. Then you see the people on the ISS with the microphones, or their eye goes a bit funny. They're like, "Oh, there's proof. It's CGI." No, it's not. It's just pixelation of the screen. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. But you jump on it. Like, and the thing is, the thing that makes me laugh is there's more evidence that they do go up there than the evidence that they don't go up there.
Well, wait, what was your explanation for the space bubbles?
Right, okay. So when you see a rocket on the platform, right, it's venting because they use hydrogen fuel, right? It vents. Now, what does hydrogen do? Yeah, when it reacts with oxygen, it turns to water, right? Okay, so there's a constant flow of water. So that rocket will basically be wet, or it'll be there'll be water stuck to it.
No, that's not true. That isn't true. The only way that you can get hydrogen to react with oxygen is to implode it and cause an explosion. That's how you get water back out of hydrogen. So that's not
absolute
true.
Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. If you expose hydrogen
and oxygen to make water without an implosion.
If you expose hydrogen into air, it turns back to water.
No, it doesn't. You need an implosion. It needs to ignite.
Yes, it does. It mixes and it condenses back into water. It mixes with the oxygen. If there is hydrogen in water, if you want to accept there's hydrogen, which is a bit shady at the moment.
That's not true. You need to implode it back together with an implosion.
Right, listen, yes.
Hey,
right,
Jacob,
listen, there's
hold
cars.
on.
Listen,
hey,
there's
Jacob.
cars that run.
Hold on.
There's cars
Shut
that
up.
run.
Shut
there's
up.
Cars that
Hello.
Run.
Hello.
Please don't.
Hello, Jacob. How you doing? Can you hear us?
I'm doing great. I just don't want to get kicked again. So I've had to go through a few accounts, so yeah.
No worries. We've got you now.
Okay. Right. If you look at a hydrogen...
Continue, sorry.
If you look at a hydrogen car, the waste product, a car that's run with a hydrogen cell, is water. Water comes out the exhaust.
Yeah, as a result of an implosion.
That's electricity splitting the water molecule.
No. It's hydrogen. Yeah, the electricity, right? In the hydrogen cell, there's like stainless steel wafer kind of things, and they send an electrical charge in there which agitates the water to split according to them. The hydrogen, the 2 parts hydrogen to the 1 part oxygen. They split it up to produce the hydrogen. The hydrogen goes through an enclosed system into the engine, and the minute it meets air, it turns back into water, and that's the waste from a hydrogen fuel car. And it comes out.
Ali,
It comes out the back end as water. It condenses, right? So can I finish now? Let me finish what I was saying about the rockets. Let me finish. So the minute that goes into the cold atmosphere, they what do you call it? They turn into like flakes, like almost like ice particles. So when they bump into something, they shake loose the ice particles. If you look at they're not bubbles. If they were bubbles, they wouldn't go. You wouldn't see them making shadows. You would see straight through them. But you can see them turning round and going dark and then light again, dark and light. So that tells me it's a two-faced. It's got 2 sides to it. It's not a bubble. Bubbles don't do that. You shine a thing through bubble. It doesn't. That bubble spins, right? You won't see it spinning. That water bubble, you won't see it spinning, but you see these particles spinning. Okay, so they're just ice particles come off due to the fact that they're pumping out they're venting hydrogen when they're on the takeoff platform.
Ali,
Right, next
you're
one.
talking nonsense. That's not true. What you've just said about hydrogen and oxygen mixing back together to create water is not true. The only way you can reform oxygen and hydrogen is an implosion.
Go on then, prove it, and go and get a thing. Go and get a thing saying that doesn't happen then, Anthony. Go on.
Okay.
Off you go.
And if I
Run along.
Ali B, why?
You retract. If
Ali
I do,
B,
will you
why
retract
do we
your
not
comments about
have
hydrogen
one
and
video
oxygen mixing the way you're
of
describing?
some type of ship docking to the ISS? That's what I want to know. Why?
But why should there be? Explain to me why should there be?
Are they just?
Why wouldn't there be?
No, but why? No, right? Yes, no, but why? Why should there be? Why would military want to show? Because it's a military operation. They're all military. These people are all military. And if you want to say Masons as well. Yeah, apparently they are all Masons, but they're all military. So tell me this: what possible interest has the military got of making films for us lot?
So why are they making? Why did they film the moon landings then? Why do we?
Because it was a bit. Well, we know why. Because it was political, right? Look what we done.
But that's,
look at us. We are
but
the
that's
fucking
just a big
masters
military
sorry
thing,
again.
right? Wouldn't
Yeah,
that
exactly.
be a
But
big
it was
military operation?
Yes, but it was also a psyop on the American people as well.
Wait,
That's
so
all. Just to make the Americans feel we're the best in the world.
Do you believe we went to the moon still?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, Ali B. So you
quite
believe that they
interesting.
went to the moon in 1968, right?
Yep.
Okay, so for the 200 people listening, will you admit to them right now that they can't go to the moon in 2018?
But how do you know that they can't go to the moon?
Because they have admitted it.
But that guy that
Numerous
came
times.
out, that guy says that we've not got the technology or whatever to go.
Yeah,
There's numerous times when astronauts have said we can't go past low Earth orbit. I've heard that myself.
Are you gonna be honest, Ali? Ali, are you gonna be honest?
No, I'm going to be totally dishonest. So.
Okay.
No,
well, then,
I
well, then
believe
we
you to
know-
be
What a
honest.
stupid!
I'm just
what a
curious
stupid,
as to
what
what.
a stupid!
What-
What
okay,
a
well,
stupid
then,
question,
if
man.
they're
Are you
telling
going
us
to be
that they
honest?
can't go
No,
back to
I'm
the
going to
moon.
lie. I'm going to lie through my teeth. What do you expect me to say? Am I going to be honest?
So why can't you admit that they
Ali,
can't go in 2018?
I never said that. I've said that I've heard them talking about the. They never actually said they couldn't. They said about they insinuated that the technology that they had at the time. Now, as I say, look, I do believe we went to the moon, but I'm not saying that all the filming, the filming and all the missions were there. But I do believe we've been there. I do believe we've been. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be. I really don't.
So you think some of that footage is actually real?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fairy tales.
Yep.
I mean, it's an interest. You can appreciate that you have an interesting aspect on this, right? Like, you can appreciate why we're kind of like wowed by you, because you don't believe the Earth is a ball, but yet the same people who tell us it's a ball, NASA, you believe other things, like they went to the moon, which is supposedly a big rock formed from the ball that you don't believe it is.
But see, that doesn't matter, right? How the moon was formed is a totally different subject altogether. It's got nothing to do with the moon landings. So I don't care whether they lie about the history of the solar system and all that.
Okay, but
all
for
that
them
kind of
to
stuff,
land
the
there,
nebulous,
but
it
for
has
them
to be
to
a
land there,
solid
it would
object.
have to be, yeah, it would
It is
obviously
a
have to
solid
be a
object,
real
yeah.
rock in the
Yes,
sky.
I see it. Yep, I see it as a solid object.
So you
I
think
don't see it
it's
as a
visible?
hologram. Yeah, it's definitely there. Oh goodness, I see it. I see it with my eyes. You know what I mean?
I mean, we all see it.
Well, there you go then. But you won't admit it's real. You don't believe. You're
No,
not.
I know
what you're
it's.
doing is.
I know whatever
listen,
it is up there
listen.
is real. I just
Yeah.
don't know what it is. Now,
well,
real could mean it's really up there. Yeah, I just can't touch it. That real doesn't have to mean tangible.
Oh, I believe it's tangible. There's no. I haven't seen it. Right.
So
Since
you
I've a
think
kid.
these guys took a dune buggy up there and were driving around on that?
Yep. Yeah.
On the
yeah.
moon?
Yeah, I think. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Dude.
Ali B, man, come on, man.
Ali, man.
How do you believe that? But you
I
don't
think he's
believe
trolling.
that the Earth is a ball.
No, I'm not trolling.
I
I'm not
think you're
trolling or
trolling,
whatever.
man.
No, he's not trolling.
Okay, you're going to accuse me of trolling, matey. You know what I mean? Don't.
I said I think you're
absolutely-
trolling. It's just my opinion.
You
All right,
think,
well,
you
while
think
this
wrongly.
descends into almost
You think-
total chaos about who's trolling who, I think Anthony's got a clip lined up. So I'm ready when you are, Anthony, if you want to play that clip.
All right, so the background to this was George became on the channel for 2 or 3 days, got absolutely destroyed. And in his response video to justify his views, because he claims that he was being muted and he was being silenced and all this, this is George's criticism of the way he was treated when he was on Nathan's show. So Nathan, I hope you're paying real attention and listen for the constructive feedback that George gives you for his problems with how he was treated on your show. Are you ready, Nathan?
Ready when you are.
Basically, the problem with Nathan Oakley's moderation is that the guy is, I would say,
Did you get that, Nath? Did you hear that?
Please go back.
Nope. Did you hear what what the criticism was? Let me just replay it in case you missed it, because I mean he does say it really, really quick there, and I could understand if you didn't quite get it. But this is what George's complaint was, so I'll just do it from this bit here.
is, I would say,
That's excellent criticism.
Please go back.
Did you see that? That was a really coherent point that he made there, Nathan. What did you take from that experience?
I take it that we can make him our new mascot, which I've done in the chat. So give it up for George, everybody. He's our new mascot. Yeah, it's like that good old dog that you can't bring yourself to take out to the barn and shoot. So he's our new mascot. Kudos, George. Your stupidity precedes you.
Wow.
Is George a doctorate? Does he have a doctorate?
In stupidity.
If I drop from Skype, will I be able to come back in the Hangout, or has it been filled?
It's full.
I mean, I know he's good at math because I've seen it on his site.
I've heard him say he's an engineer of some sort.
Yeah, he's also a grass.
Yeah, he is. Scumbag. Pointing people to their
Yeah, scum. Yeah, he's
licensed
scummy.
supplier.
Yep, absolutely. Trying to destroy someone's life. The intent behind it was disgusting. The guy's a lowlife. You've probably been quite fair on him, Nathan, actually. Even calling him a dirty scumbag tosser or whatever. But, you know what I mean? He's worse than that. He's worse than that. He's a lowlife. People that do things like that. You know what I mean? What was his intent? He was good. That guy's got a family, man. You know what I mean? these people just want to run about doxing people and phoning up their bosses and everything, man. Disgusting behaviour there. You know, we hear a lot of stories about ball earthers, flat earthers being traumatised. You know, when they first found out, kind of thing. Well, these ballers are showing clear signs of traumatisation just by their reaction, the way that they react when we enter into discussion with them, stuff like that. So.
That's why.
Oh, but Anthony, sorry, I wanted to ask Anthony about the hydrogen thing. If he debunked me on the hydrogen thing yet, or Arwen, did you manage to find anything about hydrogen when it mixes with air? It turns to water. It condenses back into water. No.
Can I make a statement on that?
Yep.
No, it doesn't.
When you separate the hydrogen,
it burns up with the oxygen in the general air.
Owen, you said no. Someone else started talking. Now you're talking. I don't get it.
You asked me a direct question.
But you said no.
Oh, I did ask him. Yeah, I did ask Arwen. I was speaking to Arwen there. I did ask Arwen. Sorry.
My bad.
Right.
My apology.
You need the implosion, Ali. It doesn't do it all by itself.
Yeah, that crap coming out the muffler is leftover residue after the hydrogen's pulled.
Yeah. When you burn hydrogen without oxygen, then it will simply suck up the air, or sorry, the oxygen in the air surrounding it at a slower rate.
Really?
If you mix it up, yeah. But if you mix it up with pure oxygen, then it's gonna detonate. Very, very violent explosion.
No, it needs a flame to do it. It won't do it all by itself.
Pure oxygen. Yeah. That's what it splits up in when you use electrolyzer.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Why don't you guys Google? Why don't you guys Google what happens when you mix hydrogen and oxygen?
Nothing at all happens.
Right.
It needs to implode.
Google it then. Go Google it. Go Google it. Why don't you Google it instead of flapping your gums and talking about
I can show
you don't know?
I can show you. I have
flapping your gums and you don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you go and Google it and look
this
it
is
up?
chemistry. This is what I learned in school, and I remember it.
Yeah, so you remember it. Well, why don't you go and check it and go and bring me a citation for it that says that happened, that it doesn't turn back into, it doesn't combine, attract to the oxygen molecules and turn it into water. Go for it. I thought you would have done it about 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago when you were calling
knowledge. But if you
I want a citation that there are people on the ISS moving around at 17,000 miles per hour. So
I think Ali.
Well, I can't comment on the speed. I can't comment on the speed because I'm not buying the speed. I don't buy the speed. I don't believe
okay, the videos that they give us of the ISS, of the astronauts on the ISS, like doing the interviews and stuff, like you believe that?
Hang on a minute.
Even the ones that got debunked as CGI and.
But they never got debunked by. I watched all the debunking videos and I didn't see any bouncy strings. Listen, listen. The thing you got to understand is, I'm a full-on flat earther, right? I'm full-on flat earther. But when I see someone saying they're on strings, I had a look at it and I'm like, doesn't look like strings to me.
So you've never seen anything fishy about any of the footage from the ISS, like where astronauts are playing when they're playing with things that aren't there. And people are disappearing, and people are flying around.
Do you know why they're disappearing?
Why are they disappearing?
They're going to another part of the ISS.
Hey, well, Ali. You know, I think you're cool. You know, we talk a lot on Skype and stuff. But I have to ask you. I have to bring this up because you said that you didn't think that the speed of the ISS was what they're telling us. Well, if that fails and doesn't work in that respect, then everything else breaks down. The size of the ISS, because they've obviously got their angular size right. You know, people would pick it up if it was wrong. How many people it could fit in the capsule, the distance it's traveling around the Earth. You know, all that would fail if it wasn't doing the speeds that they said it was for the size of the craft that it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So with you having this doubt about the speed it's doing, essentially, sorry.
No, on you go. Sorry. Sorry,
Well,
Ryan.
basically, if you're saying that the speed of the craft isn't what it is, essentially nothing else works then. So everything else has to come. Everything else breaks apart. The size of the craft, the altitude of the craft, how many people it can hold. Everything else that goes with it would fail.
Yeah, but what's the speed?
Exactly,
What's the
because this
speed?
is all math that's been figured out by
Yeah,
them,
but
right?
what's the speed? What's the speed got to do with the size of it and how many people are in it? I don't understand how they correlate.
Nathan, can I do a
Well, I mean,
It's-
that's the speed that they tell us it's moving around the Earth, right?
But you don't believe them.
No.
Well, it's angular
Well,
size.
so exactly.
I don't believe that. I don't
them
believe
either.
that there's people up there in their khakis. I don't
I
believe
believe
that.
Sorry, what did you want
Guys,
to
can
show,
I present
Arwen?
some evidence?
Yeah,
Who is saying they believe it?
I
Let
believe
Arwen
it.
get.
Right.
Let Arwen get out.
Besides Ali B.
This is a balloon filled with hydrogen and oxygen.
I believe
I
in
can't see it.
miracles.
Can't see it.
I'm playing.
You have to click
Oh,
on
but I can't
Arwen's.
see it.
You have to click on Arwen's local box.
No, I've just got a tree. You've just got a tree there. Oh, right, I've got you now. Yep, okay. Right.
What's he doing? Setting it on fire?
Yep.
But he's setting it on fire.
Cutting off a string, and then he's probably gonna.
Yeah, but he's setting it on fire.
Yeah, it takes some time. This is a 1.5.
So he's
I don't
setting
know
on
when-
fire.
No, he's
Can you
setting
please
the
have some
actual line
patience
on the
here?
bottom and the burning's going up. So it's going to take some time. And if you're going to start from the bottom of the...
Once the flame hits that
piece of
thing,
string.
it's gonna explode big time. Just
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, because it's... Yeah.
No, just
It wouldn't matter if it was hydrogen or oxygen. It's going to make a big bang. If it was oxygen, it'd still bang anyway.
just check this out.
Oh, God almighty, man. What is this?
Did it now? Can you shut up for a second?
You must be Joe. Yeah, bang. And what? Yeah, what?
Check that out.
Yeah, what about it?
What's your point?
I don't understand.
What's your point, Arwen?
Yeah.
No, that's what happens when you burn oxygen and hydrogen mixed together.
No, he just blew up hydrogen, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it didn't have anything to condense against.
Are you trying to relate that to how the rockets would work? How they would
No,
fire?
that's him trying to debunk me saying when hydrogen mixes with the atmosphere, it turns to water.
No, not atmosphere.
No, that was my assertion. I was the one that said that.
Oh, right, okay.
So
Well,
you
someone
said that
did.
it was hydrogen molecules, right? And you said when they mix back with the oxygen, it creates the water, right? And I said you need to have an implosion. It needs to be ignited for that to work. It doesn't happen just by mixing it, because
Well,
the
you've
compression.
just been debunked. You've just been debunked because I didn't see any water.
Debunked.
I didn't even see any water come out of that then. So what happened? That
Yeah,
was
but
that was
what was being
exploding and there was no
combusted though?
water.
It was the hydrogen in the oxygen, right? But if you burn it in a test tube,
No,
which I can put,
What
if
do you
you
mean
burn it in a
hydrogen
test tube,
oxygen?
it'll get a little squeaky pop, and you will get water. Have you not been watching Conspiracy Cats debunking Pete and Peter? Conspiracy Cats shows that when you capture hydrogen in a test tube and light it, you get a squeaky pop. And when you get the squeaky pop, you're left with water on the inside. And that's the recomposition of the hydrogen and the oxygen that you're talking about to get the water. But that doesn't happen without an explosion or an implosion.
No, it's not.
No, that's rubbish.
No. It's
That's
oxygen.
rubbish.
Go and debunk
That's
Conspiracy
rubbish.
Cats.
Fire
Let me
is
find this
oxygen
video.
just, sped up.
Pardon?
Well. You don't need an explosion to do it. You just need a flame, right?
That's what I said. You need to ignite it.
You said an explosion.
Implosion, I said.
Oh, implosion. Okay, sorry.
It's a detonation.
All right,
officially.
I'll apologize. I'll apologize.
It's not
here.
like gunpowder. It's not an expanding gas pressure type explosion. That is what an explosion is. No, it is a detonation. Explodes very violently, and yeah, the shock wave propels the reaction. That's why it is so explosive.
Whoa, hang on. Right, I'll admit I was wrong there. You do have to cause some kind of explosion.
Hey, he was honest.
That's a chemical
It's an
reaction.
explosion.
You sound
Different
surprised.
particles
Hey,
together.
that's no need.
You
There's no
sound
need for that. There's no.
surprised.
I wouldn't
You
assume
sound
for one
surprised.
second that Ali wasn't being 100% honest in everything he said. There's no need to suddenly be surprised that he's
Yeah, exactly.
conceded. So what? You know.
Thanks,
Yeah,
mate.
but you know one thing, Ali's a flat earther, so he will admit immediately if he's wrong.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, I never thought Ali was.
I don't hide.
You
I
know,
don't hide.
lying about his position. I just think Ali has a very intriguing aspect on how things work. This is why I ask so many questions, and I'm sorry, Ali, if I'm going.
No,
a
not at all.
crazy.
Not at all.
It's just
as long as nobody insults me and stuff like that, I can be
no.
quite
I have
affable.
no insults. I
Yeah,
just
I know, yeah.
I'm so curious as to how you don't believe we live on a ball, but you believe that the ISS is real.
I believe they're lying about what space is up there, and they're doing. Look, it's a military operation. They're doing something up there.
I agree. I agree with that.
To do
I
with something
completely like.
It's to do with something of oppressing humanity, right? That's what they're doing because that's all the military wants to do. That's what they're there for, is to control people. End of story. So they're up there doing something that's to do with shafting us, and they do it through the means of financial. NASA is just another arm of transference of wealth out of our pockets and the elite's pockets, plus at the expense of our freedom through the military, what the military gains out of it. That's all it is. They're just funding our operation and stealing our money. That's basic. That's what I see
Well,
as.
they do that anyway, don't they? Down on Earth, these heads of companies all have the same thing in common.
Well, when you understand that McDonnell Douglas have got, when you understand McDonnell Douglas have got about 1,000 subsidiaries, and probably half of them get contracts from NASA, is kind of in Raytheon and what do you call it? The other big one, I can't remember. Not McDonnell Douglas. The other big one. That's all they do. They get billions a year, and half the experiments that they do, because they pay the government funds. What happens is the government funds them. They have an idea. They fund these companies to test out the tech. They design the tech, develop the tech. NASA gets it, uses it, and then what they do is they sell the patent to the company that made it, and then they can sell it on to us, a product that we paid for in the first place. That's that system there, right? That's basically what's happening with that, right? But in the meantime, they're up there and they're doing something that that's got nothing at all to do with exploring space and for the better of humanity. It's a bit naive, but they're up there, and I'm trying to find out. I'm more interested. I know the Earth is flat. I'm just wondering now what the atmosphere is. That's what I work on. That's what I think about.
I'm wondering something. Why, if the Earth is flat, right? Okay. Why do people say that they travel around the globe if it was flat?
Conditioning, just conditioning from childhood. That's all it is. If you get a child, right? Look, a child is most malleable. By the time it's about 8 or 9 year old, right? They've already got their little personalities. Plus, they've already got their world view, right? And they're getting educated. They're getting educated from childhood to think like that. The same as what they do with the elite. The same as the people that are the elite schools. They get brainwashed. They get brainwashed to perpetuate, but they go into higher jobs, higher echelon jobs. That actually has when they make decisions that affects thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands or millions of people. But these people, the elites that get these jobs, are just even more brainwashed than we are. Because they're into the bigger picture.
Jacob, are you a flat earther yourself?
Am I what?
A flat earther.
I don't know yet, but like, I was seeing this guy online, like Simon something.
Oh God.
And like, I just think that he's false because he does the same as like a bad research flat earther. He says like, this isn't true because this isn't true. You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah,
at
you're
least
talking about Simon Dan.
Cryman Dan.
Very
Cryman
popular.
Dan.
Very, very popular.
And then Well, what happens is he gets recommended, and I think that's because of YouTube, like assisting. Do you know something? Like flat Earth videos
Yeah,
he never recommended.
Yeah, he's
But-
getting promoted. That guy's definitely, because you
Yeah.
watch his sub count. If you go to that Social Blade and watch his sub count, my goodness, man, that shot up.
There's something there.
Honestly, I think
absolutely.
that's
You're drawing a
some
false conclusion
form
if you
of
think
damage
YouTube's
control.
If you think that's down to
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
if you think
I
that's
think
down
that's
to
what it
YouTube
is. Like
promotion,
they pick one guy. They see flat Earth is blowing up, so they're gonna pick random, and he's probably not the first or the last, because they're gonna see flat Earth is blowing up, and they need to shut this down. You see, they're already talking about it in congressional hearings, talking
why
about
is it suddenly we've
we
jumped
have
to
to censor
conspiracies
if it's
with
flat,
YouTube? I don't
if they
get
say
it.
it's flat
Hold
Earth.
on.
Oh, we have
why
to
is it?
stop it.
Why is this happening? Why are we suddenly jumping to the conclusion that YouTube are promoting the hell out of him? Type flat Earth into a search engine and tell me where Simon Dan comes. All of you on the panel, do it right now. Anybody that thinks it's being promoted by YouTube, type in flat Earth. It's in every one of his titles. See where he comes. Just do it. Let's see.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Hold on,
Let's just do it.
I want this nonsense put to bed. Loads of you are asserting YouTube's promoting it. It's because Flat Earth's getting really big and they need to shut us down. Horseshit. The guy's just bought an absolute shitload of subs. Isn't it blatantly obvious? If he's being promoted, if he's being promoted, why the hell doesn't he come up on a search?
Didn't this guy just say that he appeared on his recommended list?
One
like he
guy
just showed up.
One guy who's watching Flat Earth videos and on a Flat Earth debate show.
Nathan, I've just done a flat Earth search and I see some dodgy hat in a trilby.
Oh, that'd be me.
And a blue shirt.
That'd be me.
Oh, right.
Actually, this live stream comes up pretty fast. So.
My point is, if you're going to claim that YouTube are promoting him, where is he? Why isn't he being promoted?
Well, I'll tell you about this Simon Dan. He started in December of this year. He started in December of this year. Then he bought a domain site in January. Now he runs a tutoring agency, apparently. However, the only courses that he actually offers on this tutoring course are pretty lame. Let me just tell you what they're called. Private stargazing sessions, wedding stargazing package, backyard astronomy course, and a lecture why we'll never meet aliens. That's it. So, and then his Facebook page went missing yesterday as well. So apparently that had been up since January. Now it's discontinued. It no longer works. So I don't know who he is, where he's come from. No, it doesn't appear that we can actually book any of these people that he apparently has on the site. Essentially, he's come from nowhere, and we don't know anything about him other than that.
On the other hand, just to add a bit of balance to this, if you've seen his gate video, you kind of do think, yeah, man, this guy's pumping out some pretty good quality material.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I've not seen any of his videos. I haven't watched any of his videos, actually. I've heard about him, but I haven't watched
Word
any.
in edgewise in here, man. Go ahead.
Hey, John, I didn't see you there.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I was there every time. It's a cluster.
Yeah.
Allie, what's got your panties in a bunch? What's up with this ISS nonsense?
He's been
John,
fooled by the
what do you
green
think
screen.
about the finger, John? The super vacuum space station saving finger.
Well, I was back listening because I got up late. I was listening to the first episode, and I come across that is really funny. And I just happened to know, hey, he's got another show going. What's this, a marathon day, Nathan?
I think it is. But if I was that guy, I'd chop his finger off and I'd auction it. Imagine how much it would be worth.
Put it in a case.
They're gonna have it in the NASA museum.
There you go, man. Now I'm cooking.
What did Anthony say he stuck in there?
You can guess, can't you?
Yeah, well. Yeah.
What did he say? Where's Anthony at? What was that?
I'm here. I was just answering the phone. What have I missed?
Yeah. What did he stick in there?
What?
What the heck is a John Thompson?
John Thomas.
It's a John Thomas, yeah.
John Thomas is a
or
slang
John
name for a
Thompson?
penis.
I never heard that before in my life.
John Thomas is his brother, I think.
Did Anthony say he stuck his John Thompson in there? Is that what he said?
Hold on a second,
John
hold on a
Thomas,
second, right.
you know, to plug the
John
hole in
Thomas.
the ISS that apparently they got a meteorite. Well, I said any hole's a goal, right? I'm surprised he didn't stick his John Thomas in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did the ISS, like, do they have pornography on there, or, like, how do they survive?
They got Facebook.
Just out of interest, if you did stick your penis into a hole that was into outer space, would that be a blowjob or a suck job?
It'd be the best
Same
job
thing,
I've
innit?
ever had.
Same thing, innit?
That scene out of Porky's springs to mind.
Oh,
have you seen the film
it?
Porky's?
Yeah.
Well, this is
You know the glory hole in the shower.
Yeah.
That's the scene that I've got in my mind right now.
Started this conversation.
I've started it, so I'll finish it. Let's just deteriorate any further.
Right, let's just be real.
I think what started all the silliness was really just how silly this story is of the ISS and the finger and the hole, and there's the same picture of the album from 2014.
All right, here's a question, guys. Here's a question, and guys, if he did do that, right, what would the outside atmosphere have? What would be the conditions that he was able to do that in? Then what would the outside atmosphere have to be then?
A studio, a Hollywood studio.
It would have to be of a similar pressure.
Right, okay. So you would think, and you would think that was the atmosphere from the outside trying to get in, or was the atmosphere from the inside trying to get out?
Well, it's the outside
trying to get out.
Exactly. So what's essentially happening with his finger would be that anything that in our standard atmosphere, when your blood's pumping around your finger, it's being resisted to a certain extent by the atmosphere around you. That's creating a pressure on your skin. Well, if you stick your hand into a vacuum, the pressure that's being pumped from your heart through your veins is going to pump directly into the atmosphere. It's going to overwhelm that pressure is going to be overwhelmed by the negative pressure, or whatever you call it, the lower pressure system that you're putting your finger into.
Yeah, Juice did do that, I agree.
Yeah, well, exactly. So therefore, if he did do it, the question is, what is the outside atmosphere then? What is the space? But you don't believe in it. So, but these are the questions I ask myself. If he was capable of doing that, what is the atmosphere? What's the medium that the moon?
But is that not a pre-assumption? Like assuming that the Earth's got a radius. If the Earth's got a radius, then we live on a ball.
But all right, I got another question for Ali. I mean, you say that you don't think the speed has anything to do with what's going on up there, but look at the way that the ISS is supposed to be shaped. All right. Now, you're saying that if it's not a vacuum, right, how is something that's shaped like that moving around? Let's say there is some type of tiny atmosphere.
It's currents, magnetic currents. There's some kind of, I believe, right? This is what I believe. I believe there's some kind of.
But let me real quick.
Okay.
But like you see how it's shaped, right? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like how if there's any type of air resistance, something like that is not going to survive the speeds that it's supposed to be going.
Right. So therefore, what does that tell you then? What does that tell you then?
Well, their story is it's supposed to be a vacuum, right? That's the only reason that something like that can.
They don't say that. It's a low pressure system. It's not a vacuum.
Yeah.
That was a low.
No, wait a second.
That isn't a vacuum.
Wait a second.
Exactly. That's
Wait a
true.
second.
How did they
have to
flow
go
that?
with their story. It's about 10 to the -6 torr, somewhere in that vicinity.
Which is not a vacuum.
It's a partial vacuum. It's pretty powerful as compared to sea level.
Right, but that's what they're telling you is.
Well, that's the story that you have to go on.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, okay. Following that logic, then we went to the moon then, John.
No.
Hold on. Let me just get something in. Sorry to interrupt. Hold on. Let me just get something in. That's totally unfair, Ali, because that would be the assertion that could be laid at your feet, not at John's.
Yeah, I know. I've been getting it laid at my feet, Nathan. That's what gets laid at my feet, and you are using the same logic as I'm using. Yeah,
well, that's
is
a bit unreasonable,
enough.
isn't it, Ali? Come on. If nobody's laid that at your feet, but you've just laid it at his.
It is, of course. of course it is. You're assuming. You say it right. For example, right? You're saying I believe some of what they say and some of what they don't say, right? And John's just saying, oh, but we've got to believe that's the story. We've got to go with the story. Come on, man.
Yeah, it goes to your opinion because you're a freaky.
Yeah, it doesn't. This has nothing to do with logic. They have already established what the levels of the atmosphere are to the vacuum of space. That's already established. You
Isn't
can't
that
go
an appeal
back
to
on that.
authority, John? That's
You
appeal
can't
to
go
authority.
back on that. That's the
That's appeal to authority.
established part of the story.
Yeah.
So are you?
And you believe that?
Lied on that?
No. The point he's trying to make, Ali. Sorry, Arwin. Bear with me a second.
For someone and
Bear
one
with me a
vote for
second.
someone.
Just bear with me. The point he's
making
trying to
is.
make, Ali, is that if you're going to accept some of the narrative and yet you can debunk the entire medium that it sits in, then there's no point going through the minutiae of the other elements of that medium and what is in it. You can't accept one if a whole aspect's been debunked.
Right, so that would mean that it'd be better just not talking about the ISS then, right?
Well,
if it's
I
got
disagree.
nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
Well, no, yes and no. They use it as a proof of the shape of the Earth, which is why it gets discussed. But it is a real thing. You can go and look at it.
Right, right. But I want to know what the atmosphere is up there, right?
Me too.
So the only way that I can find out what the atmosphere is assume, not believing, assume that what they're talking about. I use that as a stepping stone to imagine what that if it is up there, and I know it's not a vacuum, and I know the Earth's flat.
Yeah.
Right. I am looking to think. Right. I'm looking to think. Right. If all that's true, well, the Earth is flat. What is it they're up in then? That's what I'm looking at, and so I have to think. I have to assume that. I have to assume that
up there, then it's going to have similar pressures. As
I have to assume that to find out what it could possibly be. Okay, and that's my search. That's what I am doing.
Sure, but I think when you say, hold on, but there's two different.
No, you have to use their story, their medium.
You have to do that.
They've already established that. What's so hard to understand?
This is getting confusing. This is so confusing, man. 1 minute. No, it is because you're saying that you've got to believe their story, and then you're pulling me up for believing their story. That's what you've just said there. You're just accusing me. You're saying you've got to believe their story, and then when I say that I assume that I'm following their story, suddenly it's a lie. It's so inconsistent. So
Who's doing that?
Man.
Who's burping down their microphone?
Stop this belching. Who's
doing
belching
that?
on here?
Who's doing that?
Yeah, that was a bit.
That was Jacob.
That was Jacob.
It's very interruptive. Anyway,
You're not following this, Allie, right?
Of course I'm not. I don't get it.
Yeah, because we're getting screwed up with the story thing. Okay, they have already established what the atmosphere is, the layers of the atmosphere, space. They've already been out there, right? I'm using their story to debunk their story. So they should already know. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm using their story to find out what space actually is. So what's the difference?
Oh, hold on. Is that the real Jose? Unmute.
Yeah, that's me with the new avatar. All right.
Yeah, there was a
jumping here
troll
before
earlier.
it ends. Ah, that's messed up. Yeah, first time I joined today now.
Yeah, I'll keep the avatar hidden.
Face, man.
Well, that's really great.
I made it big time.
What are you talking about? They have already established I've already said this 3 times. I don't see the problem in understanding this. Right? They've already been out there. They've already been purported to go out there. So we're using their story to debunk their story.
And what do you think I'm doing?
About that.
So what do you think I'm doing?
Auto-believing.
Speculating on...
Well, I'm auto-believing. I believe the Earth is flat, so how am I auto-believing? I'm using exactly what John's doing to debunk it.
No, you're not.
I'm using it to... but wait a minute. Yes, I am. I'm accepting what they're telling me is true and trying to work out what the thing is, what the atmosphere is. I don't see anything. You're doing the same, but you're using it to debunk.
Okay, I think I understand now why there's a cross line or cross wire or whatever. So there's 2 different things we're talking about. Number one is a light in the sky that we can all see and observe. 2 is something that we're presented on a television screen that they associate with that light in the sky. So they're 2 different things. John's point being that everything about their version of the light in the sky has a whole narrative that goes along, and it's part and parcel. And what you're doing is saying, well, I want to take that parcel and see what truth is in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and and I'm taking their story as a parcel to find out what space is. Because I know it's flat, right? I know it's flat, so I know that the ISS is not going around the Earth, it's going circling above the Earth, the same as satellites, right? The same as satellites. So why am I not allowed to do that?
The same reason we can't find any real proof of satellites.
Because satellites are supposedly in their vacuum of space. So if I destroy their vacuum of space, their narrative, then the satellites go away.
But scientists know it's not a vacuum. It's
What
a
do you
lower
mean?
pressure system.
What
It's not a vacuum.
scientists?
Stop saying it's a vacuum. Stop using that word. It's
Why?
fallacious.
It's a friggin' vacuum.
It's not a vacuum.
Oh, God.
They don't call it a vacuum. They call it a lower pressure system. It's not a complete vacuum. It's not a full.
No, they don't. Okay, citation, please.
See again?
Citation, please.
I just gave you one. Me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Now you can choose to believe what I said, or you can just get off your ass and go and find out whether what I say is true. I'm not obliged to.
I mean, it's just like
I'm not obliged. I'm not obliged.
I
I'm not obliged. Listen, I'm not obliged. I'm not obliged to spoon feed you evidence, mate. If you want to find it, you go out for yourself and find it.
That'd be like friggin' Elmer Fudd.
I don't need to prove anything. Listen. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm not obliged to prove anything to nobody.
You can't spoon feed me, brother.
If you can give me a quote, well, go and find out then. All the questions
If
that you're asking.
you're making the claim, you go find it. You said
Right.
it wasn't a vacuum.
But I don't want to go and find. I don't feel I have to. I'm not obliged to do anything for anybody.
Okay, but Ali, this
there's
is
space
called
up
flat
there,
Earth
then
debate.
it's not gonna be
If you come on here, if you make a claim, you don't tell the other person that you're making a claim to for them to go find it. If you're making a claim, you have the source to back up what you're saying. You're just wanting us to trust you.
There's a rules. There's
He's
rules
just
and
sharing
regulations.
his beliefs. He even says, "Believe, I believe this." Okay, so he's not trying to claim proof. He's just
Well, this isn't a
speculating.
belief show.
Thanks, Arwen. Yep, that's it.
Go find another show. This isn't a belief show.
This is
Oh,
flat
you're
Earth
the
debate.
Oh, there you go. Hey, listen, go join the
theorizing.
government, John, go and get a job in government, mate.
So that's what it comes
Listen
down
to
to.
this guy. Go get a
He's gonna
job
add
and tell
on
him.
Tell me to leave the show. Tell me to
No,
leave the show.
I ain't telling you to leave the show.
You just
I said
did.
this isn't a
Did.
belief show.
Yeah, just and go. Yeah, exactly.
Go
Right,
get a
John,
job in the
you go, mate.
government.
On you go,
I'm
mate.
retired military.
I
How
don't give a
about
shit.
exploration
Yeah.
of possibilities? Is that not
No cursing.
well?
Oh yeah,
Because
sorry.
I thought
apologise
about
for that.
this, and yeah, I agree with Ali. If there is a space, it's a very important if statement. If there is more room up there, a lot, then it's not going to be a vacuum because that's impossible. But yeah, it is going to be like an air layer. I entertained this thought very early on. Like if it's up there, if there's not some kind of border or a dome or whatever, then yeah, that's
I'm trying to
indeed how
build a
it would
picture.
be.
I'm trying to build a picture in my head of it, and I don't think that just I'm not allowed to say what I believe. I know that it's a lower pressure atmosphere and the ISS exists and there's people in there. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see why people get triggered.
I can't go with you in
No,
that
I know you
department.
can't. I'm not
Because-
expecting anybody to do. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I was asked a question.
No,
and I
Ali,
gave my
Ali,
truth.
look, I
gave my
agree
truth.
It's cool,
because
dude. It's cool. I have no animosity.
And I
agree because
apologise for
space
telling you to
is
shut the fuck up. Alan. I'm
ridiculously-
very sorry.
It was
I really-
didn't break.
Yeah, I was just a bit triggered there, mate, and I do apologise for saying that. I shouldn't have said that, and I do apologise to
It's
Nathan
all right.
for swearing as well. Yeah,
It's all
but
right.
no offence, mate. I was triggered about it, but as I say, I was So, but all good on the Western front.
Ali, you cool, man. You have a very interesting take on this because.
Well, I'm
You know,
trying
and
to find out, and I believe that saying that ignoring space, ignoring the ISS, is going to get us nowhere in finding out, because that's my interest. Use lot can try and prove the Earth is flat to people. I know it's flat anyway. I don't care about that anymore. I've accepted that. I'm moving on. I want to find out what's up there. I'm more interested. I'm interested in the thought process. That I find that interesting.
There is no thought
moon
process. That's the whole point. You
Check out
can't-
my channel.
All you could do is speculate. That's all you're going to do.
And that's all it will all be able to do. But what's wrong with a bit of speculation?
But what's wrong with it? Well, yeah, you can go on.
That's how invention.
Speculation
John, if the human race did not speculate, nothing would have ever got invented.
I don't think.
I
think we got two different definitions of what speculation is. You're never going to find out. You're never going to know. All you can do is take their story. See, you can't parse their story, right?
No,
it's the whole
he's
thing. The
ignoring
whole
it.
narrative got to be evaluated, right?
He's
Everything
figuring
is
out his own
connected.
story.
Arwen, can you shut up for a second?
It's like
you can't parse and parcel out different things from their story. Everything in their narrative is connected, right? You can't parcel and parse out different things of the story irrespective of their narrative. It's inane.
Yeah, in your opinion. If you don't want to expand your mind at all, if you don't like thinking, John,
opinion. It's
you're
just
dogmatic. You're
sense.
too listen, mate. You're too dogmatic, right? If everybody thought like you, humanity would have never achieved anything.
Dogmatic about what? Too dogmatic about what?
What you're saying there. What you're
What I'm
saying there. You're
saying
saying. You said you say that we've got to accept their narrative, right? We accept that narrative, and you accept that narrative to get your opinion across. I'm doing the exact same as what you're doing, but coming to a different.
Go back down this road again. It's not the same thing. Nathan just explained it to you again.
But I don't agree with the explanation. I'm doing the exact same what you're doing, what everybody else is doing, trying to find out what's going on. Yes, I am. Maybe not in your head because I don't agree with you, John, but I am. I am.
I don't. This is inane gibberish to me.
No, it's just his thought process. I know it's very hard
Yeah, well,
to empathize with other people, John, but I understand him.
Oh, it's not that I don't understand him. I understand that it's inane gibberish. That's what it is.
Not. It's theorizing.
Yeah,
about
it's not.
Thank you.
Great argument.
Thank you. It's
hold
theorizing.
on.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
I'm going with the proof.
No.
The proof presented, and I'm making a case
It's
for
not
it.
theorizing. It's
Exactly what you're doing. Exactly
Abject
what you're doing.
speculation. It is not.
It's exactly what you're doing, matey. You're using their story to prove them wrong. I'm using their story to find out what the moon, the sun, what the atmosphere is. All right, they're telling me certain things that happen.
So you're using their story to tell you what's out there. Okay, please show us.
Science proves they're wrong.
What?
And most of the science proves they're wrong in their in what they say that the space is, that we're a closed system or we're an open system. They're totally
Science
wrong
doesn't
with that.
prove any- Science didn't do that.
I never said it did. Oh no, but they try to
You
say
just
that.
said it.
They say that. They say that though, right? And they try to prove it. Stop picking on words. Stupid. That's
Well,
stupid.
words mean things, right?
Yeah, they
That's
do.
all
but
I got to go
exactly.
on. I can't read your mind. I don't have special Evo mind powers. I can
That's
only
it, you
use your
don't.
words.
It's like
You
they
don't.
say that
don't. That's
the
true,
Earth is a
John.
closed system, right? But you believe they went to the moon. So
It can't be.
He
It
just
can't be.
he is defending us. Don't you? Are you not listening to what Ali's saying? He's saying
No,
yes.
I
He
am
doesn't
listening.
agree with that narrative. That doesn't mean that he can't just.
I'm
explore
trying to figure out
ideas.
what it is that he agrees with and what it is that he doesn't agree with, because there are parts that he agrees with and parts that he doesn't. So
Apparently.
I'm trying to establish which is which. That's all.
Right,
I'm
okay,
doing.
right.
I've never
Listen,
spoken to Ali
I'll
B
tell
before,
you.
so this is fascinating to me.
All right, let me tell you exactly the parts. Right, rockets exist. They send people up in rockets. The ISS exists. There's people up there. After that, I don't believe it's traveling at 17,500 miles. After that, that's it. There you go. That's the narrative I take.
Well, that's where I jumped in last time, though, Ali. So you made a false connection. So you said the ISS exists. There's people up there. Well, there's two different things at play. There's a light in the sky that we can see, and there's a full narrative with a ball Earth, a vacuum of space, and things falling around that ball, and that ISS that they present on TV, which is attributed to being the light in the sky. But they're two different things. The light in the sky and what NASA tell you.
Attributing light in the sky. Sorry, Nathan. I'm not talking about light in the sky. I'm talking about the actual thing. I've not seen it as a light in the sky or anything. I haven't seen it. I don't see that as, oh, look, that must be the ISS. No. All I'm going is by what the film is. I've looked at footage. I've done exactly. Of course, I want to find out about debunking. I've watched all the debunk. I want it to debunk everything that they fling out. But I'm not going to be dishonest, intellectually dishonest with myself and say, oh, yeah, that's proof positive and some shady because some guy on YouTube goes, look, they're on, well, look, I can see wires and stuff like that when they can be explained 100 other different ways, man.
But Ali,
when you don't see wires, I don't see wires. I don't see them. I don't see wires and I don't see bubbles.
Okay, fair enough.
So hang
Ali,
no,
I want to
that's
ask
fair
a
enough.
question.
There might be a source that I can put you in front of that might convince you otherwise that you may not be aware of. So there's a YouTuber called Dilly Gill, Dillyggill, two separate words, Dilly Gill. Now it's not short.
Right, 1 second. I'll just.
It's not a short. It's going to take you a day if you watched all of it at once, minimum. They're several hours long.
What's the name again, Nathan? Sorry, the name
Dilly,
again,
Dilly, and then Gill, Gill. Exceptionally good YouTuber. But he has a series called "The Space Shuttle is a Zero-G Plane," and in that he goes into extreme detail about precisely how they are faking the ISS. And you can take that as an extrapolation of his work. He focuses specifically on the live and pre-recorded footage of space missions, the STS missions. So the techniques that have been developed during the shuttle era are what he focuses on. And all of those techniques, I'm going to assert this, don't argue with me, I'm not trying to trigger you, but all of the techniques that have been developed in those missions are now being used on the ISS.
All the what? Sorry, Nathan. All the
techniques. So, Dilly Gill. I'm paraphrasing what he asserts. So, NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography and always have been. This would be exemplified by things like Barry Lyndon, where Kubrick borrowed lenses from NASA. He didn't have the technology, NASA did. Now, that's just one example, but NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography. And in terms of how they currently use the maps that they acquired for what happens in quote-unquote zero-G, otherwise known as free fall, that is what he explains. He also takes you through how they faked live broadcasts of people floating on high wires, the techniques used, and how they did it live with an audience. It's just a magic trick. It's just high wires. You don't have to like it.
I'll watch. I've got the video. I've got the video there, Nathan. I will watch that. Good stuff.
It's take you quite a while, but I'm not going to... This is no joke. I must have watched his full series of videos at least 3 times. It gives me goosebumps just recommending him because I think he's an exceptionally good YouTuber. In terms of his older stuff, no, he wasn't the greatest editor in the world. Doesn't matter at all. He's excellent, and he explains it in great detail. He's focused on a very specific time period and what they're doing. He puts it together with evidence. He abuses and misuses the word experiment all the way through, but if you can forgive him that, other than that, I've got absolutely no criticism of what he does.
What's that channel again, Nathan? What's the name of the channel?
Dilly.
It's Gilly Dill. Gilly Dill.
Oh, have I got it the wrong way round?
Dilly.
Oh no, it's no. Now it says Dilly Gill, and the video I've got is ISS internal fakery by Gilly Dill, and then underneath it's got subscribe to Dilly Gill instead of Gilly Dill. So. But I've got it here anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Dilly, Dillygill.
Yeah, I've got it here as what you said it was. But the video I got, the guy spelt the name wrong. It was someone mirrored his video. I got a mirror of his video there, and he's called him. 1 minute he's called Gilly Dill, and then it's subscribed to Dilly Gill instead of Gilly Dill. I don't know.
If you want to see it spelled out in case it hasn't come through on when the line's on me, but Telex is it? Thank you. Dillygill. It's in the chat rolling bar right now.
Got it now, bud.
The point is, Ali, a lot of that footage is really suspect, man. If you look at that, it's just really suspect.
thing is, dude, I'm not dogmatic about my beliefs. I'm willing to change my mind in a second because
and I feel that
I have no
obviously because
embarrassment.
you're a flat earther.
I don't care whether I'm right or wrong, mate. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'll admit I'm wrong. I really don't care whether I'm right or wrong. As I say, I'll look at everything, but I'll speak what I see. You know, if I see it in another way and people don't agree with me, well, I don't really care. You know, I'm not going to be bored about it or anything like that. You know, I think for myself.
That's how it should be, man.
You know, that's the reason I'm in YouTube. I don't follow the crowd, and if I'm a wee bit different, well, so be it. I don't care. We're all a wee bit different, you know. We're all a wee bit different.
Well, listen, this isn't an agree-disagree subject, right? We're looking for scientific evidence. We don't care about your opinion, your beliefs, what your favorite color is, right?
Speak for yourself.
We want scientific evidence, right?
Yeah, spoken like
That's
a true
what we're
baller.
going for. So agree and disagree is out of context. It's inane in this genre. Thanks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're
Sorry,
too dogmatic. You've just proved my point. You're too dogmatic, John. You're showing your military. You're showing the military's coming out on you now.
The ad
Oh God! What are you going to do next,
guys?
What's
the ad homs have to
my
stop.
favorite color in
Come
3
on.
months?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're detrimental to a conversation because the minute people start speculating, you get in there and you cut it down. You don't even give a chance
You
for the
betcha.
conversation.
You
Yeah,
betcha.
exactly.
As soon as you
And
start
you're
speculating,
treating.
I'm coming in with a nail spike Louisville's 44-inch slugger. You betcha.
Yeah, well, there you go then. You're stopping conversations. Now, if you think that's
I'm stopping
productive,
speculation.
well, if you think that's productive, that's fine.
Yeah, it
But
is productive.
I don't agree. It's productive.
Censorship.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called censorship.
I'm
Exactly.
going to beat it over the head.
Yeah, but that's it, and that's what I'm saying. No insult, but this is your military training coming out in you, mate. This dogmatic thing.
I'm pretty
That's what
dogmatic about things. Water
Yeah, well-
boils at 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. I'm pretty dogmatic about that. Why? Well, it's been scientifically validated. So yeah, I'm pretty dogmatic about that.
How did you measure the temperature then, John?
Really, Arwen? How did I measure the temperature? With a thermometer.
Yeah, right now.
That's a man-made device, don't you know?
Really? Well, we were talking about natural phenomena. The phenomenon natural is the water boiling, not the thermometer.
Really? And how?
Natural phenomena observed. The boiling water. Hold on, Allie. Hold on, Allie. Hold on. Hold on. Go ahead, Arwen.
Yeah, so how are you going to boil it?
Natural phenomena observed. Water boiling. Well, water boils naturally, right? I could go up to Glacier National Park and see it, or Yellowstone and see water boiling naturally. What about your thermometer? What was that again?
Well, what if, for example, the temperature doesn't boil at 100 degrees?
No, it does.
But it boils at, for example, say 95 degrees. Then, yeah.
Well, what?
No,
Yeah.
but
It's polluted, so the boiling temperature becomes different.
Well, water's boiling. We already see the natural
Yeah, but
phenomenon.
not at 100 degrees
right?
Celsius.
We already
Different
see
from
water
water.
boiling, right? So that is a natural phenomenon. Now what we do is take water at sea level and measure what temperature that water boils at. See? The thermometer isn't the natural phenomenon. The water boiling is. So you got the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, but water is a wide phenomena, basically. So unless you want to have pure water, which does not occur naturally, like distilled water, it doesn't occur naturally, has no solutions within it. So
What's up with the thermometer?
you're going to use other types of water. Well, guess what?
You're on other types of water.
What is dissolved in that water?
What happened to the thermometer?
Of the boiling is going to be
What happened
different.
to the thermometer? You quickly
You're
dropped
still
that,
using it, aren't you?
quickly dropped that thermometer, didn't you?
I'll jump in on the thermometer, right? Okay, so we've got water boiling as the phenomena, right? All you're measuring when you put a thermometer into that water is the reaction that the mercury on the glass is reacting to the heat that's coming off there. You're not measuring heat at all. You're measuring the reaction of mercury.
What?
You're not measuring heat.
There's no chemical reaction going on there.
It rises in the glass tube, does it not?
It's pressure. It
not a
expands
reaction,
because of heat and causes pressure in all directions, and it outcrowds the air above.
You're getting off into the weeds. I'm going back to the thermometer.
Yeah, I'm in the thermometer. I'm talking about that. All you're doing,
Arwen's thermometer.
you're not measuring. All you're measuring is the reaction that boiling water has on mercury in a glass tube. End of story. That's all you're doing. That is all you're doing.
Oh, wow. That really debunks water boiling.
I wasn't trying to debunk. I'm just telling you what you're doing. You're not measuring the temperature of water. You're measuring the reaction.
You're missing
No.
Boiling water is not a chemical reaction.
You're measuring. All you're doing is measuring the reaction of hot water against a glass tube with mercury in it.
There's no chemical reaction.
Allie, you're being dogmatic.
Boiling water is not
Yeah,
a
you're being
chemical
dogmatic.
reaction.
You're missing the point. That's not the point. The point was scientific evidence, right? Water boils at a certain temperature at sea level, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
nice
point.
one. Nice evasion.
What happened to the 100
What
degrees?
evasion was it?
What happened to the 100 degrees?
That's very
then?
specific.
Yeah, he changed the temperature. He just says it boils now, and it measures the heat. It doesn't
What the
measure
hell are you
100
talking about?
degrees.
What
Just
are
what
you-
you said there. Repeat what you
That's
said
what it
there,
should
John.
do. What's your point?
Well, your point. My point is that you're not measuring the temperature of the water. All you're doing is measuring the reaction between boiling
Here
water.
we go again.
Well, what are you doing then? Tell me what you're doing.
I'm
You're just
telling you.
measuring a
that
reaction against
scientific
glass
evidence
and
is
mercury
that-
and water.
Well, if you'd
Hot
shut up,
water.
I'd tell you. You gonna shut up?
I'll try to.
The point of the discussion was, Allie, that water boils at a certain temperature at sea level. That's scientific evidence. That's the point. That's why I'm dogmatic about it. And then Arwen came in and said, whoa, wait a second. What did you use to measure that? A thermometer. Yeah, I did. Because the thermometer is not the natural phenomenon. The water boiling is. That's the point.
Well, isn't the mercury rising a phenomena also?
No, it's a measuring instrument.
Yeah, but you're observing the phenomena of mercury rising in the glass tube.
No, you're observing the phenomena of. So the first step in the scientific method is to observe a phenomena. So you walk.
Natural.
Natural phenomena. Right. So you come across a hot spring and you go, "Wow, that water's bubbling. What's going on?" And you can scientifically validate the cause of the boiling.
Yeah. I'm dogmatic about that.
So
I'm just saying but you've got a second phenomena there.
No, you don't.
Mercury reacting with the hot water.
No, you don't, because thermometers with mercury in them don't exist naturally. They're man-made.
Exactly.
Right.
So where's the experiment then? You're using a measuring tool. A man-made measuring tool. If you want to go down that road, I can take you down that road as well if you want.
Oh, you could go down that road. I'm standing down there with the nail spike 44-inch Louisville Slugger. Just come down the road, please.
Oh, okay.
You're forbidding
Hold on,
vacuum.
I just want to, for Ali, do you understand the point that's being made here?
Yeah, but do you understand the point I'm making? I do understand, but I'm just saying that if you put an object into hot water, right, and you see the mercury rising, it's a reaction between that hot water, the glass tube it's in, and the mercury.
That's very true. The point that he's making isn't about experimenting on boiling water. The point he's making is you can scientifically validate things. You can establish a cause and effect relationship after observing a natural phenomena. Now, this is what's called scientific evidence, and it's repeatable. Anybody can try and debunk it, falsify it. When you go forward to try and establish the cause of the effect in your hypothesis, you'll have a no effect result. So you can say, well, it's not adding ice that makes this water boil. So if your independent variable was ice, it would have no effect. It probably would have a slight effect, actually, but that's not the point. My point is, it's not the actual cause of the effect. But when you finally establish the cause of your effect, you have scientific evidence, something that's proof of what is asserted. In this case, water boils at 100 degrees at sea level. That can be scientifically validated. And there's no argument, there's no dogma, it's just a fact.
Exactly.
You can't use 100 degrees anymore because there are other variables.
I'm nearly there, Arwin. So, in contrast, when you take a Just So story about a light in the sky with people in it, that is about as far removed from scientifically valid as you could be. It's a Just So story. And you're saying, but I like little bits of the Just So story, and using that Just So story, I'm going to find some truth. And John's saying, no, that's not how you find truth and facts and proof.
But that's what John's doing, Nathan. You're misunderstanding. John's doing the exact same. What he's just saying. He's using what they say to debunk it. So he's using their proof as well. So why can't I use my proof to...
No, he's not. He's taking what they tell us and saying, you assert that we have a vacuum. That's part of the narrative of the globe and space system that they portray as a complete thing. It's not separate entities that you can choose bits from. It's an entire narrative with a globe in the middle, space on the outside, an open system with rockets going in and out of it, the satellites that we're arguing about. All of that stuff is part of that single narrative. And within that narrative, they have two things, specifically two things. One, we definitely know is real. That would be gas pressure. The other would be a secondary system of a considerably lower pressure. I'm not going to label it with the V word. A considerably lower pressure system.
Thanks, Nathan.
Right. But that is their two assertions in their narrative, which is complete. Yeah? Now, you can debunk that with science. You can make a single assertion that they will never be able to validate, which is, can you have the gas pressure, the bit I know is real, without a container? The bit that they assert in their entire narrative about outer space and the lower pressure system that exists beyond the gas pressure. So, with science, you can debunk the entire narrative about outer space, along with it, the ISS and what they claim about it.
But you haven't been able to so far after 3 years.
Say again?
But you haven't been able to do so after 3 years.
Do what?
Debunk the ISS.
I have.
I'm still waiting.
Wow.
I'll do it again. Listen up.
He totally misunderstood what you
And it's all right. It's all right. If Ali's saying no, you haven't, then that's good, because it means that there's members of the audience that are of the same opinion, and that's brilliant. I'll just repeat it in a slightly different way. So, you appreciate, Ali, that we definitely have gas pressure. Would you agree?
Absolutely, 100% behind you on that one.
Would you also agree that they, the people that give us the information, let's call them NASA, assert that there is a lower pressure system beyond that gas pressure? Would you agree?
I would agree, yes.
Excellent. Are you aware of the second law of thermodynamics?
Yes. When something starts, entropy, for example.
Yeah, entropy is the single word that would summarise it in the most succinct way for this example. So you understand entropy?
Yep.
High pressure to low pressure, things dispersing, all of that good stuff.
Yep.
So, we definitely have gas pressure.
Yep. Yeah.
How about the other bit? The lower pressure system outside of that. How is that possible given that we have entropy?
Yeah, but that would suggest but see, people imagine space as a sucking thing. What happens if it's denser up there?
That doesn't answer my question. Forget about what it could be. We're talking about. I tried to explain it by saying this is an entire narrative, Ali.
Oh right. Well, that's it. Well, that doesn't. What do you call it? Compute
Work
with me.
Work.
Because that goes
doesn't
against.
Work,
right,
Ali.
That
Doesn't
work.
Right,
the
word you're looking for.
Narrative. Right,
the word you're looking for is work.
Nathan, listen. Can I listen? Right. Okay. Let me listen. But that narrative doesn't work. It can't be. You can't have a lower pressure system against a higher pressure system.
Right. So where does the
therefore,
hold on, hold on,
so
hold on, Ali, I'm taking you through it a step at a time, mate. I'm trying. So where does the ISS exist?
It exists outside our, or part of our gradated atmosphere. And I believe there's a medium up there that things floating. Right now, whether it's they say it's a low pressure system or whatever. I believe the atmosphere is actually the molecules are heavier, and we're actually pressed
we
down.
seem to have
by
strayed
the
back onto what you believe, Ali.
Because not but because
Ali, we've strayed back onto what you believe, Ali. You were doing so well.
Right, but listen, because
Ali,
of the weight,
we've strayed on to what you believe. We are specifically talking about what they assert about the ISS and where it is. That's all one thing. Now you're saying, made it clear, we're not talking about the light we can see, but about their narrative. Specifically, space. Part and parcel of a single narrative.
Yep, right.
Ask him the question one more time.
So how do we have gas pressure without a container?
Due to weight, because the atmosphere is heavier than the medium that is space.
Right, but
so
it
sinks due to weight, because the molecules, the atmosphere is heavier than the atmosphere outside.
But you understand entropy? A gas will expand. You understand that bit, right?
Yeah, but then that would assume that there's a difference between pressure and weight, right?
Sorry, before we get into this, Ali,
it doesn't necessarily mean it's got
problem
pressure.
is you've already conceded. You've already conceded that it doesn't work.
I don't understand.
You've conceded. It doesn't work, does it? You can't have gas pressure with a vacuum or lower pressure system next to it. That doesn't work because it defies entropy. You've already conceded this.
Yep, I have done that, and that goes.
Excellent. Well, just bear with me then. Now I've got that. We're back on track. We're back on track, Ali. So you've conceded the medium that the ISS is asserted to be in doesn't work.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what I'm trying to find out what it is.
Wouldn't it be easier to just figure that maybe it's just not there if it's...
No, it's not, mate. It's not easier for me to deny that...
Well, I mean, not that it's not there, because
people
have seen something up there. We've seen a light in the sky up there, but if they're not honest about the medium, the very medium that it's in, why would they be honest about the people that they're putting in there? You know, like that's what I'm trying to understand.
Right, okay, right, here we go then, right? So how about this? So they get up there, they find out it's not the medium they thought it was. Are they going to tell you about it? Are they going to say, oh, suddenly, by the way, all our science is fucking... Oh, excuse me. All our science is wrong. It's all wrong. We put our hands up.
Buying the narrative that they're up there still. Even though up there doesn't work.
No, in their model. But in my model, it works because they're floating
and that's
around
where they say
that
it is, Ali. That's where they say it is.
In my model, it does.
Yeah, but that's where they're saying it is. And your only evidence other than the light in the sky is what's on TV. And what's on TV is in outer space, mate. Outer space that doesn't work.
Yeah, but I'm disagreeing with their medium. They're describing the medium wrong. It doesn't mean that's not up there.
So what do you think the medium that they're floating around in is? What do you think it is?
Tell you that guy. There was a guy called Robert Bassano, and he what do you call it? What do you call it? He thought he was talking about liquid hydrogen or something, but
superfluid helium. He was talking
about.
That's
superfluid helium, right?
Because remember, I was on that show, wasn't I?
Right, all right, dude. All right, yeah. All right, calm down. I know, and I liked you when you kick your ass with thing, but you know, as I say, I can still disagree with you. But the point is,
like I said, back to the agree-disagree part. It's not a part of this genre. How many times do I have to say it?
Well,
until you're blue in the face.
In conclusion, Nathan got Ali to concede that it does not work. So whatever he says is just what he believes.
Yeah, but I've said it doesn't work. Exactly. But I've always said it doesn't work. I've always denied that we're on a ball and that's a vacuum. that's what they're telling us it is. It's not. They're not telling us what it is, but there's something floating up about there. The moon's floating in it. The sun's floating in it.
Now there isn't anything floating up there. That's the whole point.
There is
their
some
narrative. Their narrative says, Ali, no, it's not floating up there.
Then you will go no further.
God, their narrative says it's falling around sphere Earth. That's also part of their narrative of what you see on TV, of what they say is the light in the sky.
Yeah, but you've got to see. We're talking about the atmosphere of space at the moment, not the ISS. I'm talking about the atmosphere. We moved on from that. We're talking about the atmosphere now. They can be talking all their shit about what space actually is, and I believe that's what they're doing. And the only way I'm going to find out is, except there's an ISS, and if there is an ISS and the moon and all that shit there, what is it flying about in? How is it staying up there? And it's not going round the Earth at 17,500. It's not that at all. It's not that.
So you don't think it's a vacuum, right?
No.
So
well, it can't be a vacuum because, as Nathan has just
exactly.
Yeah, but why would it be flying around? Why do you think there's a tin can up there? Why do you think it's a tin can with people in?
Well, I've no reason to think that it's not.
Other than they're lying about everything to do with the aspects of the narrative that goes along with it. So it's not falling around a ball Earth. It's not in space. Yeah, but other than that, about basically everything that's to do with that, but the tin can and people, that bit's true.
Yeah, Ali, like that's the problem I have, man. Like you say,
yeah, but just
you
because
have no reason to think that it's not. But those same people are turning around and taking pictures of the Earth supposedly that are round that you don't believe. So
yeah, but if you watch the ISS, I watched the ISS for hours, and that thing is going round in a circle. I've watched it change direction, actually going and coming back round.
No, you haven't. You've just said you haven't seen. No, you're lying. You've watched what's on TV. You haven't watched The Light in the Sky. You've never even seen it, you said earlier.
No, I did say that on TV. Right, okay, I've watched it live on YouTube and actually sat and watched what it was doing. And it was going round in a circle.
Okay, well, Ali, I've watched Godzilla for hours. Hold on, Ali. I've watched Godzilla for hours. I've seen him sleep, mate, shit. You name it, I've watched Godzilla do it.
Right, and I've seen Godzilla. Prove me wrong.
That's my argument. Well done. Like you asking John to prove that men have been to the moon, right? No, you don't get that cheap trick with me, Ali. No. Yeah, that's my argument, buddy. Yeah? There's no need to try and swipe my argument at the crescendo of my argument where I demolish the I've seen it on TV, therefore men are in a tin can in space argument.
If it's a good argument, it deserves to be used again.
You're referencing the hangout. I can't hear a thing.
Was that meant to be an insult or something?
Yeah, you're referencing the hangout. I can't hear anything. I'm hearing bits and pieces of people talk because you're over talking them. What in the world?
He has to defend his religion.
I don't know why you're hanging on to this, Sally.
He doesn't want to let it go, man.
Yeah, I don't want to let it go, man, because you know I'm delusional.
No, Ali, it's just that the very people that are telling you
so
it's a
hypocritical,
ball.
man. You pick and choose when to use logic or discount the logic's not good enough, but logically thinking, and then you go on about argument against.
So
wait a minute, listen. Can I please finish? Let me finish, and I'll be. So you use your argument, duty and credulity, and we don't believe it and stuff like that. Yet when I say something, you use the same thing. Oh, I don't believe that. It can't be. That's impossible and stuff like that. You are using the same shit against me that you use against ballers. And I use the argument against incredulity or whatever you want to call it, incredulity or whatever.
Incredulity.
Incredulity. Thanks. Yep, laugh because I can't.
I'm not laughing. I just want you to get specific. I want you to get
baller reaction.
Here we go again. I want you to get specific. All you had was generalized, baseless assertions. You need to start getting specific.
How can I get specific if I've never been up there? I can only get as specific as my knowledge can reach.
No,
That's
not
it.
about up there. You
My
just
knowledge.
made a bunch of claims.
You're putting
You just made a bunch of claims here. Go ahead and support them specifically. Easy.
The problem is the only knowledge you have of people being inside that tin can that you think is up there. That all we see from here is just a light in the sky, right?
Mhm.
But you think it's a tin can with people in it, and I mean, I don't even know. Like, where's the logic in that? I mean, all right, this thing has been up there 20 years now. When was that thing put up there?
21.
21 years.
21 years.
It was.
And it's only had
built
one
up
meteor
there,
strike.
right? It was built up there, and it's been up there orbiting the Earth for 20 years, right? The only way people can get in and out of it is if they send people in a rocket to dock to it somehow or another when it's moving at whatever speed it's moving. I don't want to say the speed because you don't like it. So whatever speed it's moving at, people are docking to it from a rocket coming from Earth. Right? You believe all of that.
Yeah.
But then those same people will show you supposed footage and take pictures from that tin can of a round ball, but you don't believe that part. You believe the whole story until that part. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's when it breaks down, when they start saying about what space is and stuff like that. It just all breaks down for me. Not the technology to go stick a rocket in space. We've been doing that for how long now? Very many years, right? They even tried to blow a hole in it in the 50s. So they've been doing that for years. They've been sending them up for years. I just believe what they're telling. They just fill it with half truths, and they mix the truth with lies. It's an old tactic. They do it all the time. They'll mix truth in with lies to obfuscate the actual what's going on there. Look, they're military. It's military up there, guys. It's military.
Well,
right?
if I may, Ali, I just want to reiterate my point just one last time, which is that you're saying they are sending rockets up to space because you've seen them send rockets up to space, but you've already conceded space doesn't work. So why do you
see? Now you're picking on my words.
Yes, they're important.
But in all
outer
honesty,
space,
Ali,
that's what we're talking about. Whether or not it exists, and using actual real methodology, you can disprove the medium that all of this stuff sits in. Space isn't real. You can't have what we experience daily, gas pressure, with a much lower pressure system next to it. That's what they assert. Same applies for them falling around a sphere Earth, which is how the thing's up there in the first place. Now, those are the two main aspects of what they say the light in the sky is. But you're like, no, I'll buy all of it, which is basically none of it, because there's people in tin cans on TV.
Yeah.
At least he admits it. At least
yeah,
he's
I do.
not.
I do.
At least
This is why I can talk with Ali and I respect him, because
Yeah.
he'll say this is what I believe and that's what it is, and that's cool. I'm just trying to figure out how it works in his head because it's driving me nuts. I'm sorry.
Well, let me just draw one last analogy. So let's pretend for 1 second that Santa, was actually travelling in super hexafluorine fluidium. Yeah, and this super hexafluorine fluidium is the medium that he travels through. And everyone believes that Santa is real. And then I come along and go, well, the problem is the super hexafluidium doesn't actually exist. And you say, well, no, but I still think the sleigh exists. I reject the medium it's travelling through, but I accept the sleigh still. That's what you're doing.
Well, Santa Claus, as we all know, as has been proven, is a fictional character.
It's an analogy.
Yeah, and
Right.
I'm proving that the medium that the ISS
analogy,
sits
but he's
in
using-
is a
he's using
fictional
two totally
medium.
different, things.
I'm saying the medium that the
For a
ISS
fact,
sits in.
Santa Claus does not exist. Nobody on this panel knows for a fact the ISS does not exist.
Yeah, we do, because I've debunked the medium it
No.
sits in.
No, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Just because you've debunked the medium, which I agree with, it's not a vacuum. Just because you don't know what the medium is. So my next thing is, well, if it's not a vacuum, what is it floating about in then? That's where I go.
Why would you assert that it's floating about at all, when all we have to go on is a light in the sky? If I shine a torch onto my ceiling and then track it around, right, and you see this light, then I make a whole television series saying that light in the sky is that light on my ceiling is actually this miniaturized spaceship on the ceiling of my roof, right? And there's a whole narrative, there's a whole TV series, there's a 24-hour live feed showing this light in great detail, focused in on it closely. It's really just a torch that I'm moving around on the ceiling, but the narrative for that torch is this whole load of bullshit, and 90% of it gets debunked. But in the narrative, I say that light has got a spaceship in it, and you're just still accepting that spaceship just because I've got a torch still on the ceiling. It makes no sense. It blows my mind, Ali.
Right, 90% is not 100%, my friend, and that's where I am.
But the only bit that's not debunked is the light in the sky, my torch on the ceiling.
No, but it has maybe to your satisfaction, because maybe you're looking for that. You've got that prejudice. You truly haven't got an open mind and willing to take it. You're coming from a biased situation. A lot of you
get out of here.
Yeah,
Jesus, man. What a weak argument.
You don't see this. Yous are acting exactly what ballers do. Yous are doing to me exactly what ballers do to you, to us. You're doing the exact same.
Yeah, right.
Exact same.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Okay, you could break that down, but you won't see it because it's like the fish in water. The fish doesn't realise he's actually swimming about in water. But me standing on the beach is looking at the fish and say, "Oh, there's a fish swimming in water, doing the exact same." And that's all yous are doing right now. I've got proof here.
What's the proof?
I've got proof for the last hour that I've been talking and talking on this platform or whatever.
Okay, let me just try one last example, and then I'm gonna round out the show. I'll just try one last time. So there's a Fleagle monster, right? Now the Fleagle monster lives in liquid cardboard, right? And I've got all the details on the monster and how it breathes liquid cardboard and all the rest of it, yeah? If I debunk liquid cardboard, there is no longer any necessity whatsoever to debunk the, I've forgotten what it's called, the Flugelmeiger fish, or whatever it is that breathes liquid cardboard.
That's the problem with making names up, Nathan.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I've made up a medium that this thing sits in, yeah, it doesn't necessitate any further debunking if I debunk liquid cardboard. I don't then have to go on to I don't have to debunk the respiratory system of a made-up fish.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But what's your point? That's just an analogy. So what I could make an analogy.
Well, let me compare. Let me answer, please. So we've debunked the medium that the made-up tin can with people in it sits in. So we've debunked the liquid cardboard or space. Outer space is debunked. So you're saying no, you still need to debunk the shuttle in the medium of liquid cardboard or space. And I'm saying no, if liquid cardboard doesn't exist, there are no monsters breathing liquid cardboard. There's no vessel. I was just at the crescendo, Ali, for God's sake. So if I've debunked the medium... forget it. With that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do, but if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend, or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!